All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about something pretty fascinating today: digital detectives. The devices we carry around every single day, they've become these unlikely and, let's be honest, super objective witnesses in some of the most serious crimes out there. So let's get into it. Wow, this quote, it really just hits you right. The difference between guilt or innocence. It perfectly frames what we're talking about here. This isn't just about some extra clue for an investigation. No, the digital trail can be the whole case. It can be the one thing that separates a murderer from walking free or an innocent person from losing their life behind bars. The stakes aren't, well, they're as high as they get.
So let's talk about the virtual smoking gun. When physical evidence just isn't enough. Violent crime scenes are messy, they're chaotic, they're emotional, and physical evidence, it can be burned, washed away, or just plain misleading. It's so easy for traditional forensics to hit a dead end. But here's the thing. In our world today, the most reliable witnesses, well, they're often our own devices. I mean, think about it. Your phone, your laptop, the GPS in your car, they don't have feelings. They can't be intimidated. They don't forget. They don't have a hidden agenda. They just record data, cold hard facts, timestamps, locations, messages. They create this completely objective record of what actually went down.
Okay, so where do investigators even start with all this? Well, they begin by following the digital breadcrumbs. It's like a trail, a cyber trail that we all leave behind. They start piecing together the victim's life or the suspect's life through their digital interactions to see what the story is. Let's unpack that a bit. And this is a great way to visualize it. It's never really about just one piece of digital evidence. It's about building this whole network of connections. You've got a call log from a phone over here, an email from a laptop over there, maybe a location ping from a cell tower, and suddenly all these separate dots connect. They link the victim, the offender, and the crime scene all together. It creates a picture that's almost impossible to argue with. And the technical term for this stuff? It's cyber trails. It's a great name for it, actually. Just think of them as digital footprints. Every single time you go online, send a message, or even just carry your phone with you, you're leaving a trace, a little invisible footprint that investigators can follow. Let me give you a real-world example of just how powerful these cyber trails can be. The case of Maury Travis. This guy was a serial killer who used the internet to find his victims, thinking he was totally anonymous. But it was one tiny digital breadcrumb, a single IP address captured when he looked up a map online that led police right to his front door. That's all it took, one digital slip-up, and his reign of terror was over. All right, so once the investigators have collected all these digital breadcrumbs, what's next? Well, they start putting the puzzle together. This is a process called investigative reconstruction. They take all these disparate pieces of data and start building a timeline, a step-by-step story of what happened that's backed up by hard digital proof. And check this out. This is a perfect example of guilt by GPS. So you have a suspect, George Ford, and he has a story. He says the death of a 12-year-old girl was a tragic accident that happened around midnight. A believable story, maybe. But the GPS in his car, oh, it told a very different story. Instead of going home, the data shows him taking the victim to a house for hours. And then, at 3 a.m., it places his car at the exact spot where her body was later found. His whole story, his entire alibi, just completely shattered by objective GPS data. There's no arguing with that. Now, sometimes it's not just one thing, it's a whole bunch of digital clues coming together. Take the MySpace murder. Josie Brown met this guy, John Gomer, online. Okay, so investigators start digging. They find the MySpace messages that set up the meeting. They pull phone records that prove they spoke right before. Then they use cell tower data to show her phone was miles away from where he claimed he dropped her off. And then, get this, an accidental butt dial from his own phone actually recorded the assault. It's just unbelievable. He even tried to cover his tracks by sending a fake email to her account leader pretending he didn't know she was dead. But it was way too late. The digital web was already woven. So as you can see, this evidence is incredible for figuring out the who, where, and when. But it goes so much deeper than that. Digital evidence can get inside a suspect's head. It can reveal their motive, expose their lies, and even prove they planned the whole thing out in advance. It can prove premeditation. Here's a classic case, Joe O'Reilly. His wife is murdered, and he has a rock-solid alibi. He says, I was at work. Simple, right? Hard to disprove. Except his cell phone. His phone told a completely different story. Investigators tracked its signal, and it pinged off cell towers on a path directly from his job to the crime scene and then right back to work again. Just like that, with one piece of digital evidence, his perfect alibi is just gone. blown to pieces. And this, for me, is maybe the most powerful part of all of this. Digital evidence can prove intent. It can prove premeditation. I mean, the private thoughts and plans a person has, the things they think nobody will ever see, can be laid bare by what they search for online or what they type on their computer. A chilling but perfect example of this is the case of Reverend William Guthrie. When investigators looked at his computer, what did they find? A search history, filled with searches for ways to kill his wife. He then tried to stage it as a suicide by typing up a fake suicide note, but he made a classic digital mistake. The computer's own data, the file's creation date, proved he wrote that note months after she was already dead. It not only proved the murder, it proved the cover-up. And it's not just search histories either. People confess or plan in the digital world all the time. There's the case of Larry Freistat, who literally confessed to a murder and an email he sent to his online support group. Or Joseph Edward Duncan III, a serial killer who kept a spreadsheet, meticulously planning his future crimes. I mean, it's all right there, saved on a hard drive. Our deepest, darkest secrets, stored as ones and zeros. So it really all boils down to this one kind of scary question, right? What story does your digital footprint tell? Think about it. Our devices are these silent partners recording everything. Our movements, our chats, even our fleeting thoughts that we type into a search bar. For an investigator, that story is the key to finding the truth. And for all of us, well, it's a pretty powerful reminder of the incredibly detailed, permanent story our digital lives are telling about us every single day.